Welcome to Tod Talks, where we explore the cutting edge of HVAC technology and how it can elevate your business. I'm Todd Sutherland with Tropic Supply, and today I'm here at our Daytona Resource Center with Gil Ledoux from PED and Associates, one of our trade partners and the representative for Uniweld. Now, Gil, I see we got several items here from Uniweld, but I want to start with this. What can you tell us about the new Evac pump?
So we, like everybody else, are having to update our pumps, make them A2L compatible, sparkless, if you will. This happens to be our new cordless battery operated pump. It is a 6 CFM pump, 2-stage naturally, and it is battery agnostic in that it will run off of the Milwaukee batteries, the DeWalt batteries, and the Makita batteries. So if you'll see here, the unit is fitted for Makita. And with the adapters that we provide, makes them friendly to the Milwaukee batteries and the DeWalt batteries, which most of these techs already have on their trucks.
Now, I notice you just put on a 20-volt battery, and this is an 18-volt battery. Does
Correct.
it matter which one I go with?
So our observation has been that the voltage between the 18 and the 20 volt doesn't really make that much of an impact, but the amp hours are largely what's going to give you the life of the battery. And you will find on average pretty consistently, regardless of the brand of battery or the voltage, 18 or 20 volt, that you're going to get about 10 amp hours. 10 minutes per amp hour.
Okay, so this is a 5 amp hour battery, so I can expect about 55 minutes out of that battery.
Yep. Out of the 3 amp hour battery, I got 31 minutes. Out of the 4 amp hour battery, I got just over 40 minutes. And out of the different 5 amp hour batteries, I got 54 and 55 minutes. So it seems pretty consistent regardless of the brand of the.
All right, now what happens if I'm in the middle of pulling a vacuum and this battery dies on me? Am I going to lose my vacuum?
That's a great question. Most all pumps, are going to make the assumption that most all pumps are going to have a check valve built into that stem there, into that tree. And that is, the purpose of that is to keep the oil from getting sucked out of my pump if I lose power while I'm in a vacuum, or in this case, if the battery goes dead. So there's a unique feature built into this pump, which is redundancy, but there's a solenoid valve in there. And if you can see a close up on here, you'll see that this pump has been off for an hour and it's still under 10,000 microns. Not meant to hold a 500 micron vacuum indefinitely, but if I happen to be on the other side of the building and my battery should go dead, and I'm not going to come back to a system and figure out that I got to start all over again because I just sucked in all this hot, humid Florida air into that system. So it will actually hold that vacuum. That's the solenoid valve. So there's a check valve in here. There's also a solenoid valve in there that will hold that vacuum until I can get another power source on there.
Now, where your check valve is in the what I tend to call the Christmas tree, can you tell us a little bit about the connections that, and this all comes on the pump, right? This Christmas tree or your connections?
So, you're pretty sharp to notice that. We use this splitter here on our MaxiVac hose sets, which have been very popular. We don't like the T connection. We like it to be a Y connection, so it's a smoother flow and easier displacement. And so we actually built this into all the new pumps. So what you'll see here is you've got your 1/2-inch connection if you want to do a single hose evacuation. You've got 2 3/8 connections, so if you don't already have our MaxiVac hose sets, that you can tee off two hoses with the 3/8 connection. And then, of course, you've got the 1/4-inch connection, and honestly, the only time I'm using that is when I'm checking my oil, which is what I'm doing right here with the vacuum gauge on there.
Okay, so just so we're clear, I noticed you got a micron gauge here, but that's not where we want to read microns when we're doing an actual vacuum. No. That's where we want to test the pump.
Despite what we've done in the past, really the best practices would dictate that I would want to deadhead my hoses directly to the unit and put the micron gauge at the unit.
So
And if-
speaking of that, I notice we've got larger diameter hoses here, and we're going right from the pump to our equipment, which is representative of this tank, and then you've got some core removal tools. So all of this setup that we have with the hoses, the core removal tools, all come in the Uniweld Max Evac kit.
That's correct.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So you've got two options there. You have a single hose set. You have a double hose set. What I'm using here is a double hose set. I'm not using the splitter because, again, on this pump, the splitter is built into the pump. So you've got two 1/2-inch hoses. These are dedicated vacuum hoses, and they are deadheaded right from the pump directly to, in this case, we're going to refer to that as the unit, but the test vessel. We've got your core remover tools. The core remover tools have 20 micron rated ball valves, similar to our manifolds. And we're going to remove the cores. You'll notice that the stems are magnetized, so you don't drop it in the sand. You may also notice, going to be hard to see here, but there is an O-ring in that extractor. So it's not magnetized. This is magnetized. But that O-ring is what grabs that little Schrader core and pulls it out. So you don't have to worry about bending those things to tighten them up like that and eventually snapping them. There's an O-ring that's built in there, and as you can see, it's going to hold that Schrader.
So in the kit, and it comes in this nice carrying case too. So in the kit, we get the two hoses, the two core removal tools, the speed Y, if you want to call it that.
Correct.
And this, and then a couple of hose hangers that also come with the kit.
Right, the hose hangers there just to keep your hoses dry.
I can tell you, this has been out for what, over a couple of years now?
A couple of years, probably a year or
And
two now.
I've been using this out in the field. Love it. I love the large gauge hoses. This is definitely one of my favorite kits. Highly recommend this when you're out in the field. All right, moving on. Last but not least, we've got a new gauge down here. Tell us about this?
So there are certain things that need to be updated from a compliance standpoint, more of a safety issue, recovery units, vacuum pumps right here, and electronic leak detectors. From a practical standpoint, we're updating the manifold sets to include the pressure temperature scales for the new refrigerant. So that would be the R32, the R54B, and for our refrigeration friends, the 448, which is on this one, 448, 449, same gas, just different vendor. So this is our Spirit 2-valve set right here. We make these right in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in our plant. Been there, family owned and operated since 1949. We use 80 millimeter no flutter gauges, and you have 4 scales on here. So this is going to include the R32, the 454B, the 410, obviously we're going to be working on for many years to come, and 448 for the refrigeration, which is the 404 replacement. And it is packaged with the ball valve hoses. So again, the same 20 micron rated hoses, or 20 micron rated ball valves that we use on our core tools.
Okay, so and of course, didn't mean to skip over that portion of it too, but since we're talking about A2L product, this pump, of course, is A2L compatible, correct?
Yeah, it's A2L compliant because it's sparkless. With the pumps and the recovery units need to be sparkless.
Okay.
So,
well, great. Well, Gil, thank you for being here today. Remember, staying ahead in HVAC means embracing the innovations that drive performance and efficiency. If you'd like to learn more about any of this product, don't hesitate to reach out to Tropic Supply. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in HVAC. I'm Todd Sutherland, and I'll see you on the next episode of Tod Talks.